me, Mulder, your self-proclaimed metal mogul. This is a very long overdue video. To be honest, I don't think I made a video at all in 2024. A couple of live streams, that was about it. I received some VCLT from two or three people, 4 people actually, last year, and obviously the thing with VCLT is people love sending it, people love receiving it, but I think secretly, whether they admit it or not, people love seeing it shown on a video by the recipient, whether that be an unboxing or whether that just be a show and tell. And I didn't do that last year. I've got 4 things in total, 3 kind of through the post and 1 in person, so that probably wasn't expecting a video anyway. But while I wasn't making videos, and while I had no intention of making videos really in 2024, it was always that nagging thing at the back of my mind that I'd let some people down by not showing what they'd sent. So today I rectify that. So 4 people in total. So I actually had something from Jim Davis. Everyone knows Jim Davis, very generous guy within the VC. Sends out a lot of packages to a lot of different people. Needs no introduction. He actually sent me something before Christmas in 2023, and it was just at the time when I thought I was done making videos. I did not have the motivation. There was nothing bad or anything going on in my life. I'll kind of cover what happened in 2024 in the next video, but needless to say, I just had no inclination to get on camera. And after I'd received the package, I didn't know it was coming, and I mentioned that to Jim, and he was fine and everything, but I always kind of felt bad because Jim is always very generous and sends packages through to people, and I think he gets a kick out of seeing people open stuff on video, even though he probably says he doesn't, and it doesn't matter. But I think I probably would think it mattered if it was me. But maybe I'm just a bit selfish, and I just like to hog the limelight myself. But so this video is to rectify that. It's the ghosts of VCLT past for 2024, 2023. Actually, what I did with the package that Jim sent was I actually opened it on Christmas Day, 2023, and it was really nice because I don't get many surprises at my age when it comes to Christmas and stuff. I don't get too much for Christmas. I don't ask for too much for Christmas. I don't need it. So generally I get a record or 2 or something that I've asked for. So to open up something that I had no idea what was in it was actually quite nice at the time. And I'll show you what was in it. Hopefully I have got everything. I've noticed a couple of anomalies in my... I've not been as on it in the last year of cataloguing anal as I have been in the past. So hopefully I've got everything. I'm sure Jim will seem to remember what he sent people, so I'm sure he'll correct me if not. I will forget if I don't say that this T-shirt was also in the package as well. Big Star Wars fan from back in the day. Well, just those first 3 really are the only ones that I ever really connected with. But T-shirt was a nice surprise in there as well, and as I say, if I have missed something off here, Jim, then I apologise. It is a year later, and I am trying to make amends here. So there were 4 records and 4 CDs in the package I got from Jim last year. Let me show you what they are. Obviously, I know what they are now. I've played some of them a hell of a lot, some of them not much at all, but let me explain. So this is Icarus Witch, No Devil Lived On. A new band to me. When I opened this up, I've never heard of them. I've never heard anything else by them. It's a purpley vinyl. John, Rock and Metal Plus, watched one of his videos today, and he talked about this sort of purpley vinyl as being like just what the kids' plasticine looks like after a few weeks of all being mashed together. And he was absolutely spot on. This is still in the string, but it has been opened, it's been played. I haven't played this for quite some time, so I had to chuck it on again just to remind me of what it sounded like. That's the You can see the sort of the purple and random flecks of black. These guys are from the US, I believe, and this came out in 2023, and I think it's like their 4th or 5th album. But I say not a band I have heard of before, and I believe a lot of their the content of their lyrics is sci-fi related. Career switch. I threw it on today because I could not remember. I say it's been quite a few months since I last listened to it, and it's really good. It's very modern sounding heavy metal, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Although I have been mostly in an 80s kick for most of last year, but this was good to put on, and it's one that's definitely staying in the collection. So check out Icarus Switch if you haven't before. Also, he sent me a Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, Kings of the Asylum. So I knew who Phil Campbell was with his links to Motorhead, but 3D. But I never heard any of his, I'm going to say his solo stuff, his own named band stuff before. This is on Nuclear Blast Records. Another purple. This is solid purple though. The labels are actually on the wrong side though. Side 1 is on side 2, side 2 is on side 1. And it took me a few listens when I first got it to figure that out, because I was trying to follow lots of the lyrics. I just could not work it out for a little while. 6 tracks on side A, 5 on side B, but that's the easy way to work it out, I guess, as to which side is which by just counting the tracks. But it's good. It's good. It's so it's Phil Campbell and 3 of his sons, I think. His bastard sons, no doubt. I'm sure they're delighted to be referred to like that. So Phil Campbell's on guitars, Todd Campbell on guitars, Tyler Campbell on bass, and Dane Campbell on drums. And the lead vocalist is a guy called Joel Peters. He clearly did not have enough kids to start a 5-piece band. It does have a bit of a Motorhead vibe to it. That's not surprising. Not only because of Phil being in Motorhead for such a long time, but also I'm sure he knows that's got to sell, isn't it? But a really good album. The vocals are a little bit too modern metal for my my taste, but not enough to not make me want to listen to that album again. I did throw it on again today because I say it's one of those ones. When I get a lot of new records, I have to be in the mood to listen to them, and this is something that I've struggled with when I've had larger VCLT packages in the past. And towards the end of 2023, I went through a period where I was very lucky. Don't get me wrong, I'm not ungrateful, but I had a lot of music coming in. It was music that I hadn't chosen myself, and I struggle just to do that thing of just chucking on an album just to listen to it. I've got to, if I know what kind of style it's going to be, I've got to be in the mood for it. And so I put it on a couple of times and I enjoyed it, but I haven't listened to it since until the last couple of days when I really thought I was going to get my arse in gear and make this video. So Phil Campbell, Bastard Sons, Kings of the Asylum. Although when I hear that song, I hear Keys of the Asylum, and I think my lyrics are better. But there you go. Now, this album I have played a shitload over the last year. The third video that I promised I would make myself, if I was going to do videos again, there was 3 videos I was going to do. One was the metal tag, when I saw it coming out. Second was this one, and the third one was what I've been up to, what I've picked up, and maybe why I wasn't doing videos in 2024. So a little bit of a bio of 2024. And this featured heavily in my 2024 listening. So I'm not going to go into too much detail at the moment, but suffice to say, this got played a lot, and it's not an album I connected with when I first heard it on, first got it on CD a few months actually before Jim sent this. This is Loose and Lethal, High Roller Records, reissue. When did this originally come out? About 92, I think. New wave of British heavy metal. It was a band I always thought was American for some reason, and have only recently connected with it. But this is a absolutely fantastic reproduction, as High Roller do. Again, I've still got it in the shrink. I've been a bit lazy. I usually like to try and peel the hype sticker off and stick it to the sleeve that I put it in, but I just didn't get round to it. This comes with all the High Roller stuff. I'm not going to get it out now. I'll do that in the next video. You know, it's got the poster. It's got a bonus disc of demos as well, which I've not actually played that much. I have played it, but the album is good enough for me. That's really all I want to hear. But this is an album lots of people know, but one that I completely, utterly, totally connected with in 2024. So that was really the cream of the crop for me, coming out of this, and to get it, as I say, in on vinyl, really helped me get into it as well. The last record that came was Cruel Force, Dawn of the Axe. This was a band I discovered through... There's a guy on YouTube, New Wave of British Heavy Metal, or New Wave of Traditional Heavy Metal, something like that. I was 2023, 2022, years before. I've been all over that channel, dying to hear what's come out, what's new. 2024, I've completely... I was just 80s, pretty much. But Cruel Force was one that I put on my wish list, and then literally within weeks, Jim had picked up on that, and I bought it. And it was this is kind of like a blackened speed metal side. It's not as ferocious as Hellripper, but it's honestly it's absolutely fantastic stuff. The long-awaited third album of Cruel Force. I'd never heard them before. After over 10 years of silence, they are back faster and louder than ever, delivering a speed metaling mayhem to collect heads at the dawn of the axe. For fans of Creator, Piledriver and Iron Angel. Really, really fantastic album. 2023. Cruel Force, Dawn of the Axe. Check that one out. CDs were interesting. So there were 4 CDs in that box as well. 2 from Kenard. Now CDs I tend to... I don't store them. I've got boxes that I put them in. I don't store them on shelves, so I replace the jewel cases with these plastic slip cases, which are absolutely perfect for preserving the back, the booklet, and the disc as well. Kenard was the guy that was in Anacrusis. This album here is Dancing with the Past, and this other one is Trauma, which is signed as well. I don't know whether Jim had got these signed or whether they came signed. I think it might be an insert card that you potentially... Yeah, it's a card rather than the CD cover itself. These are really interesting, which kind of makes it sound like I'm going to say I don't like it, isn't it? If I just say it's really interesting rather than it's fantastic. They're hard work, both of these albums. So this one is a Dive Bomb Records one, so I think it's a reissue from 2021. I'm not sure the year it originally came out. But there's 13 tracks on here, and this is a double album, Dancing with the Past, from 2016. This is a double album, and both of these albums, they use every single bit of a CD, a bit rather than bit, if you know the techie jargon. They're about, each of the CDs is packed to the best part of 80 minutes long. that's what makes them so hard. There's some really good. I've listened to this one a few times. This one probably just once or twice, because I find them quite inaccessible. I don't have the time to sit and listen to a CD for 80 minutes to really get into it and then listen to it again. They are ones I'm definitely going to revisit. As I said, I've listened to this one probably 2 or 3 times in the last year. I couldn't tell you what songs are great. It's all over the place. The pace changes. Sometimes it's really thrashy. Sometimes it's a bit metal. Sometimes it's maybe a bit more proggy and very melodic, and it's avant-garde. There's everything in here. It's really hard to pigeonhole it, but it's good. It's just so damn long. But I keep meaning to go back to them again, but I tend to listen to a lot of CDs ripped on my walk to work, commute to work, which is about 35 minutes. So it would take me the best part of 3 days to listen to this album. But it's good enough to keep, definitely. So 2 Kenard albums. The guy from Anacrusis, if I didn't say that already. Now the last 2 CDs, bit of a mixed bag, I'm not going to lie. And a bit of a surprise, really. So this first one, Widow, with Midnight Strikes Twice. This originally came out, I think, in around 2003, and this is another Dive Bomb reissue. Jim finds the Dive Bomb stuff really easily, really expensive to find over here. They're a great label. They resurrect some really great stuff that isn't available, and they'll put a load of demos and things on there. So this is the original Midnight Strikes album from 2003. It's got 5 2001 demos and some video on there as well. I've not watched the video. I never watch the videos that come on enhanced CDs at all, if I'm honest with you. The hype sticker says modern 80s metals for the fans of King Diamond, Judas Priest, Ozzy and Wolf. Now I looked at this and thought, I don't remember what this sounds like at all. And I don't think I've actually played it until today. That's a bit of a shocker, isn't it? As I said, I just tend to pick things up. But the fact that I've put it in, I got rid of the jewel case and put it in this, I don't know, that confused me. Maybe I was just overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that I had at the time. But in order to tell you what it was like on a video, because this is not an unboxing, this is a kind of a review, I guess, I had to listen to it. This could be fantastic. This could be so good. It's very much from the 2003. The sound is very much that new wave of traditional heavy metal. I've not listened to a lot of that in the last year. I do own a lot, but I've not listened to a lot of it. And this has so much promise. It's straight up heavy metal, but somebody had the stupid idea of doing growly death metal, not very good growly death metal vocals, backing vocals on this, on every single song. They don't kick in. They never kick in till about 30 seconds to a minute into the song, and then it's just like, what? It's so out of place. It's not even like it's kind of like that new metal-y thing, or it's like thrash, and it's the vocalist is in here is really good. I think he's unique. He's not your typical metal vocalist, but he's also not that super melodic, clean melodic vocalist that you normally pair up with a savage, gruff, rough death metal type vocalist. When you get that clean and rough vocals, he's good enough to carry this. And if I could listen to a mix of this without those growly death metal vocals at the back, it could be a 7.5, nearly 8 out of 10 album. But those death metal vocals, what were they thinking? It just ruins it for me. And I want to listen to that album again, because I said the music was so good, and the main vocalist's vocals were thought they were superb. But why? It almost sounds like they were doing it and somebody just came in off the street and just started going over the top because he was pissed. No, ruined it. last one from the package was a Warship, the Third Wave. Honestly, this one was a clunker. There's no two ways about it. So I think I showed most of these, if not all, on a live stream earlier in the year. But I know Jim had said that he doesn't watch the live stream, so that was why I always wanted to kind of come back to this. But I played this one on the live stream, and it was the first time that I'd heard it, and honestly, it's awful. Musically, kind of okay, but the vocals, I think they're Greek, but the vocals are, it's terrible. It's terrible. I've still got it. I will find a home for it. This one didn't make it into my filing system, my no dual case filing system, because it can't stay. It can't stay, even for the comedy value of it being so bad. But Jim wasn't to know, and I appreciate it. I would never have checked him out, and I will never check him out again. So Jim, sorry it took so long to show and tell the cool stuff that you got me. There was a letter in there at the time. I've just got a box of shit above me that I chuck stuff in, and when the box gets too full I sort it out, and I know it's in there somewhere. I didn't have time to find it before this, but appreciate that. Sorry it just took so long. There are a few other things that I just want to show as well that I got off a couple of mates now. I don't think they were necessarily, again, looking for a video out of this, because these are people that I've just swapped stuff with, and you know them. So Mark G with a C and Metal Mickey Mike. So Mark G sent me Moral Crusade, an Act of Violence. Sent me this back in February. This is on Mosh Tunage, so you know it's thrash. Now these guys are so it's not UK thrash as such, but it kind of fits into that sound. These guys are from actually from Ireland, from Dublin, I believe. So I don't want to offend them by calling it UK thrash, but it sounds like UK thrash. That's the CD. It's really good. It's aggressive, growly, gruff vocals. I think this probably originally came out in, I don't know when it originally came out, but it's 1990. The LP originally came out, 9 tracks, and this also has 5 demo tracks from 1989, I believe. This reissue came out in 2013. It's quality UK sounding thrash metal. That's sort of slightly below top tier, probably quite a bit below top tier, but above shit tier thrash metal. Really, really good. Listen to this again today, actually. This was the soundtrack of Family Holiday, for me anyway. Not the family would appreciate it. That I played quite a lot each day when I woke up and where we were staying. So that was very much appreciated, Mark. Thank you for that. Metal Mickey sent me a couple of things through the year. Earlier on, I think it was around May or so. This is a Risk, Turpitude. I believe these are a German power metal band, in the vein of, again, you know, your Halloweens and your lots of other bands. Also noticed now, if I'm doing this again now, I'm not going down that whole route of making it sound like I know what I'm talking about. Most of the stuff that I was said before, when people have gone, oh, you know so much, it's all Google. It's all Google. And now I'm just going to read up stuff that I think might be interesting for myself, and if I can remember it, I'll share it, and if I can't, I either didn't know it or I can't remember it. But this was an interesting one. I know this is sort of a mid-catalogue album in 1993. I think this might have been one, so I think Mike got quite a few albums off Jürgen, and this is one that he passed on to me. I think he kept the best ones for himself, but I enjoyed it at the time, and I need to give it another spin.
Sorry, I just had to interrupt. I went on this big monologue in this video about how I was no longer going to do any proper research, and if I forgot stuff, I just it didn't matter. But I think there's a difference between between getting stuff, forgetting stuff, and just talking utter shite. And I have just talked utter shite about Risk Turpitude. It's not a German power metal band in the vein of Halloween at all. I clearly had not listened to it beforehand. And it was playing on my mind after I finished the video, and I went back and I played it, and it's clearly not German power metal. I know Jürgen would be, I was going to say tune in his grave, but I'm a little premature for that. But Jürgen is a massive fan of Risk, and he did a big collection video or discography of them, and talks a lot about them. Very instructive, which I completely forgot about. That was a bit I forgot about, but what I was guilty of is not playing this beforehand. So Risk are more of a thrash band, although this is something like their 6th or 7th album, the last album they put out. And if you go on Discogs, it says this is doom metal, heavy metal, but to me you can tell they were a thrash band. But it's like they're playing thrash at the speed of traditional heavy metal. So it's the speed of heavy metal, but a thrash vibe to it, but not fast enough to be what you call thrash. And I certainly didn't get any doom metal from it at all. So there you go. I've listened to it now. It's not power metal. I talked a load of bollocks. But it was too much bollocks for me to actually let go and let lie. Any other mistakes I've made in this video, by the way, just pop them in the comments. I don't care about that. But let's get back to past me, and hopefully there won't be any more glaring errors like this. But
more recently, Defiance, Void Terra Firma. This is really good. This one actually came sort of November time. They're a US thrash band, and they sound like a cross between Zentrix and Anthrax, more sort of spreading the disease period of Anthrax. It's really good, really, really good. The only thing that lets it down is they do a cover of Iron Maiden's Killers in track 6, and it completely destroys the flow of the album. Tracks 1 to 5 up to that, absolutely brilliant all the way through, and then Killers comes on, and it doesn't add anything special to it. They've not done. They've even the singer's even putting in the moans and groans where Deanna would put them in. It's ruins the flow. It's a terrible cover version. It's a brilliant song, but terrible cover version. And then I kind of struggled I have to get back into the album after, because it feels like I've had a commercial break, and I didn't want to have that commercial break. But overall, this is a fantastic album as well. So thank you very much, Mike, for that one. And the last one I'm going to show, and again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because this is one of my albums of 2024. Mentioned it in the metal tag previously. The band, but not the album. So this is Stormwitch, Tales of Terror. I think this was originally 1995. Probably forgotten. This is a High Roller Records, a reissue. Jürgen was... this is from Jürgen, by the way. And this was a bit of a surprise because I bought a few records off him, and I left the record bag that I had in his... We were staying with him in his flat. Mike and Mark G and myself stayed with him for a few days. Full exposure to his amazing record collection. Stormwitch was a band that I randomly picked, liked the cover, and we played. And it was honestly, it was such an amazing time, because I haven't had that experience of sitting in a room with mates and playing metal records from someone's collection. I never got that because none of my mates were ever into metal, so that was like the perfect weekend for me. And Stormwitch was a band that I found completely by random, fell in love with that first album. I bought that first album off him, and then when I wasn't looking, he slipped the second album into my bag as well, the cheeky bastard. But very much appreciated. It's on Black Wax. I have now just started. I played the first album to death and didn't give this one much of a look in, to be honest with you. Has a full high roller treatment. poster, the High Roller catalogue thing in there as well, and a inner sleeve. Also, smells like Jurgen's place as well. Smoked ham. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so this wasn't one that he sent to me and would be expecting a video of at all. It was just a little bit of a cheeky move on his part that I happened to spot while I was still there. So I have thanked him personally for this. But if you are unfamiliar with Stormwitch and you do check out Tales of Terror, it's brilliant. It's kind of Iron Maiden meets Man of War, but not quite as over dramatic as Man of War. Point of No Return. The vocals are melodic and soaring as well. I really love that. That's really what I've been into the last year. But so, yeah, songs like Point of No Return, Hell Still Alive, Arabian Nights. I love that track because it's also, they're kind of putting like an Eastern vibe to it as well. And Sword of Saigon, that's one that it's, when I actually listen to, because I've got this on MP3 as well that I've listened to on the way to work. So it has one of those intros that Man of War would have done, but it just goes on a little bit longer. But it's fun when you first hear it, but when you have to hear a long monologue before you get into a song every time that you try to get into an album, it does grate a little bit. But it's a good one. It sort of talks about a blind a town that's getting attacked, and they're sent a blind blacksmith that comes, and he spends 7 days and 7 nights forging a blade that he when he finishes, he dips it in human blood. It's quite funny, but yeah, it's a great Stormwitch. Love this band now. My discovery of 2024. So I think that is it. If I've missed anything that the guys have sent, or if someone else has sent me something that I've not acknowledged, then my apologies. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.